like within your group, like, do I want Australia to make it through? Well, think about it. It seemed like good lads over there, yeah. So it's obviously not an ideal situation in that regards, but also there is literally no format that does a good job of getting 6 teams out of 10. If you're putting them into 2 groups and whatnot, it's literally not possible. So regardless, hey, it is what it is, and it's going to be an interesting time to actually see how that one moves forward. But I'm actually going to be moving into a little bit more of a question mark for Nuke in general, because we keep talking about how Mongolia maybe doesn't really have that game plan, or they haven't used that game plan to have it. The fact that they are showing such a convincing performance on Nuke right now should make anyone thinking to pick it in the playoffs in a best-of-3 stage being really worried to actually let this one come out.
Yeah, you know, heading into this qualifier, we didn't really have much of an idea of how Team Mongolia is going to perform on Nuke, and even heading into this particular game, we sort of thought, okay, one of the win conditions for Australia is to play Nuke, and maybe that would have been true if Mongolia were actually playing a concrete style of Counter-Strike, but that's not been the case. So I'm not sure if I should be worried. Okay, are they playing this well because they're playing this freestyle style of Counter-Strike because they don't really care about the outcome much? Or would they be even more deadly if they're actually playing their A game?
Isn't that just what makes them scarier, though?
Yeah, I mean, that in itself, like that...
The uncertainty,
yeah.
You don't know, do I look to cut out the pungs? Do I look to cut out the strats? Do I look to cut out an individual player? Where do you look to if you want to win on Nuke, right? And I'm just terrified about that. But I am not terrified about us not getting back to the game, because we're back in it, baby. 12-6. And Australia are bringing out the AWP. Savage will be wielding that one. We're going to wait and see what exactly he can deliver over here. Licky starts to get aggressive and will be going right down the vent early on and waiting underneath. Foggers is playing the not very Foggers role, just going for the jiggle peek.
Yami and Kaz just single-handedly are able to get it done. Opening frags for the boys. Wow. Bartek. I think he was under the impression that that's a bit of a one-way, but even if it wasn't, it doesn't matter. Licky and Gump. The round has barely started, and they've just... started to lose lives all across the board, but at least Gump can keep them honest, put this in a spot where this is potentially a 2 versus 3 possibility. Not a very convincing one, though. Bomb now down. Gump and Licky kind of realizing that the trade-off of trying to go for this retake, maybe not the best idea, because this AWP is also looking pretty good in their hands.
They have a buy in the next round regardless, though.
Do they really want to sacrifice that much money, though, and the AWP?
Yeah, no, I agree.
This late into the round? Okay, yeah, I see the rationale there. They're like, okay, if the double nades get the player behind the box, we're going in 2v2. If it doesn't, we're backing off.
They're contending. They've revealed positions. Gump is in a very aggressive, safe position. He will actually be saved by the bell, to be fair. The bomb's going to be blowing up soon, and the T side do not want to be messing with anyone in that process. So, you know what? 2 players kept alive. Another kill. No, Bartek. He does not die. Savage is on 21 kills, by the way. While 3 of his teammates haven't hit 10.
Team Australia now feeling very wounded. 3 rounds away from certain demise. Being left to the mercy of Team Palestine if they end up losing out this game. Savage, great opener. He's been the one that has been leading the charge in terms of kills. And he wants to continue to try and do it. Deny the Kingmaker's opportunity of stealing his crown. Kaz, though, has equalized the numbers. Gump playing up close and personal with the MP9, but if there's a player that peeks out from credit card, winning that duel is going to be next to impossible.
He saw the shadow.
Yeah, that was a shadow. But he's not quite reacting
like he's checking
to
for
it.
Like he's gone back. He's going to check for it.
Okay.
How is Kaz not dead?
More importantly, how long does Gump survive? Apparently a little bit longer than we thought he would. MP9 does get one, but Yami and Kaz will quickly start to make quick work of the opposition. Savage, he might have gotten the opening kill, but he also needs to be a closer if he wants to get it done. Drop down, Kaz does not have a care in the world. 14-6, Mongolia are dominating.
I am baffled about how Kaz gets that kill. Licky saw the shadow, maybe he didn't register it, but then he's behind Kaz. And maybe Kaz is just playing in from the back Jenny position or something like that, but you shouldn't find that frag.
And hey, if you thought that Yami having 41 kills on Inferno against Indonesia was a fluke, here we are again. In 20 rounds, he's going 25 and something.
And 13, yeah.
Yeah. Kaz just doesn't even need any utility, just knows they don't have much. Try to go for the quick stat pad.
The Eco Cobra. This Cobra has been snake charmed. Senzu is the one playing the flute. And Australia, not the scoreline you wanted to see, even if you wanted to see them lose. You wanted to have this be a titanic matchup just between two teams that have got some insane individuals, lots of plays to be made, lots of back and forth, but not looking possible at all. Indonesia is, without a doubt, looking like the second best team in this group.
Yeah, unfortunately, like, you know, it's hard to pin the blame on individuals, but there simply has been a massive fragging disparity between Savage and Hats versus everybody else. Savage continuing to dish out the numbers, but I don't think it's really going to amount to much. Licky still trying to have a bit of a lifeline for his teammates. 3 versus 2. Yami and 9 on the AK, so they might be delaying the inevitable a little bit, but it's certainly looking like a Mongolia game. Actually winning this round and then winning 8 subsequent rounds against a monster Mongolia squad, it's just so unlikely.
I thought he was going to go for the knife. Well, second player spotted out as well. Licky can't punish a jump spot. And 9 is here with the Molotov at the feet of Licky. Where will Licky go? He is caught in to the back of the bomb site. 9 just wants to cut around from the side, plant the bomb, and Yami doesn't even move from the heavens. Gump is all that is left. A 1-on-2. An impossible situation. But can he bring it together? A clutch that he has won before as well. No kit will make it harder.
Yeah, this is definitely looking impossible, but he needs to find a rip in the fabric of reality. Not gonna happen. A very quick and easy game for Team Mongolia, and they have looked so dominant, not just against this team, but against everybody else with the exception of Team Indonesia. Is there any answer to Mongolia?
Uzbekistan?
Maybe.
Maybe. That really does seem to be the only question mark that could actually end up delivering. Obviously, Australia now have their fate in the hands of Palestine. If Palestine beats Indonesia, then Australia is 100% out of the running. If Palestine even loses to Indonesia, then there's a question mark about round difference, about tiebreaker rules, about so many things. Their fate is not in their own hands, and that is something you never want to happen. Mongolia, however, undefeated, come through, cleanly looking like the best team, not just in their group, but in the entire tournament. And as a result of that, they're looking like the #1 seed in all of Asia right now. It's their tournament to lose.
Yeah, so I think if I've done the math correctly, right? Team Palestine already had a -9 round difference against Team Australia, but because they've gotten 6 rounds on Nuke, Team Palestine, they cannot win on a tie because they'd have to get 15 rounds, which would be a tie.
Listen, we're gonna figure all of this stuff out later on, because to be perfectly frank, we also aren't sure that round difference is the only metric, right?
Okay.
Because if you're looking over towards other things, then you don't really know. But the point is, Palestine still can very much qualify through. Australia could potentially be out. If Palestine beats Indonesia straight up, then they are through, right?
Yeah.
And that is a doable matchup. We saw Indonesia crumble when you're going up against highly aggressive opponents. But enough about that for a second. We do need to refocus back on on this game. Who is there to even just shine a light on? Senzu is looking like a stunner. Bartek manages to close out rounds when his teammates are just having a good time. 9 is looking like a great just a great addition just in terms of a role fulfillment. And then Yami, he's a stud, he's a star. Kaz is obviously the weak link in the team right now, but even he's putting in numbers, even he's getting these pop-ups because he's got no pressure on his shoulders. He's got 4 other great players around him as well. He can just play his own game.
Yeah, to be honest, the weak link can't really ever be exposed until there's pressure on the entirety of the team, right? Maybe when you see them against a team where you can go like, okay, we can't afford to hand cause the AWP anymore because we actually need all of Yami's impact. That's where you're going to start seeing cracks in the squad. But right now, it's been easy breezy. It's just been too damn easy for Team Mongolia. And they've just continued on their winning ways since the local qualifiers for themselves. And pretty much no answers.
I don't have an answer either. If you're actually looking out over towards even just the highlights that we're going to have, Australia, sure, they had a few moments. Savage obviously delivering very nicely in round after round. He managed to have almost, I think, a 1 KPR or so, which is very impressive. But at the same time, it does not matter. It just doesn't. It was just Mongolia all the way. If there were any doubts in the slightest about which region has a deeper talent pool, I think it's very clearly Mongolia right now, because even they haven't sent their finest, right? They haven't sent the Mongols lineup, which wasn't quite able to make it through, even if they did qualify for the tournament initially. They sent a great second, but it is still a second.
Yeah, a very competitive second indeed, but you're right about that. We haven't even seen the full brunt of the local qualifiers for Mongolia, right? That is insane to me, because right now Mongolia are so far above everybody else that their only competition could potentially just be a second Mongolian lineup.
And again, just to remind everyone, last year's IESF, Mongolia did actually go very far forward. If I remember correctly,
they got
second place,
yeah,
right?
Against North Macedonia.
And North Macedonia was obviously the team Blue Jay, some of whom went on to Apex, who played the recent major semi-finals, some of whom went on to other teams as well. You know, that was a very, very, very good stack and very good squad that just hadn't quite seen the same shine. So Mongolia coming second place to them is no fault of theirs. Mongolia is very much looking to replicate and repeat and maybe even improve on that last year performance.
And if you compare it to last year, right, Mongolia has been such a fast developing region that now their prowess is going to be even stronger. Now you're potentially looking at a second lineup from Mongolia, or 2 teams from Mongolia that can match the prowess of the main lineup that made it to second place last year.
Yeah, and this is where obviously we're going to be looking forward towards Romania and the World Esports Championships, because they are guaranteed a place in it, regardless of how the rest of the playoffs actually turn through. Mongolia will be in Romania. A chance for these players to boot camp, right? A chance for Senzu, for Yami to go experience the European scrims, to go experience the European side of things. That is enormous. This one opportunity is huge. Where they are right now is big. Riyadh is huge. Senzu getting this stage time, you're not going to get that anywhere else until there's so much pressure on you, because you are going up against teams that you think are better than you as well, right? If you're Senzu, you're going up against these European squads, the big clans of the world, the Blue Jays of the world that do come to Romania. That's a different place altogether. Now you are getting to experience that, get those jitters out, have a beautiful stage to play on, you know, have something to write home about, get all that extra support from home and everything. This is great.
Yeah, this is such a good storyline, right? Getting the practice, potentially, well, now guaranteed qualifying to get that exposure against better teams as well. And these guys have done so incredibly well with, I know that basically half of the team has a lot of European exposure as well, but now for the whole squad to be able to do it, just all of